You have been trained to fail, not by villains, but by those who called themselves protectors. They taught you to be humble when you should have been bold, to ask permission when you should have declared purpose. They told you to sit still, keep quiet, blend in. But let me tell you plainly, the average life you were told to admire is a lie. The school taught you facts, but never how to think. The church taught you to beg, but never how to believe. The job taught you obedience, but never how to lead. You have been domesticated, and they called it education. You were weakened, and they called it normal. But I say this to you now, power is not safe, power is not polite, and power is not permitted to the man who waits. That is why this message should be censored, because it will make you dangerous to the world that profits from your mediocrity. If you hear this to the end, you will no longer walk like a man hoping for better days. You will walk as one who commands better conditions. The voice you hear now will not just speak to you, it will enter you. It will build thought, and that thought will burn away everything weak that ever lived inside of you. This is the science they never taught you, the truth they never trusted you with. The formula that built Carnegie's steel empire, Ford's factory lines, Edison's laboratory, Lincoln's unshakable poise. And if you listen with the intensity of a man who is tired of delay, it will build you too. But you must pay the price. Full attention, no distraction, no second guessing. Listen not as entertainment, but as reconstruction. For every word you hear will install new identity. Every sentence will either cure you or condemn you, depending on whether you act. Most men will never hear what you are about to hear. And those who do, 99 out of 100, will do nothing with it. You are now at war with that 99. But I believe you are not like them. I believe you will finish this message with fire in your spine and steel in your words. Let us begin. Some truths are so powerful they must be hidden from the masses, not because the truths are evil, but because the masses are unprepared to wield them. They have not developed the mental stamina, the spiritual responsibility, nor the identity required to bear the weight of those truths. Power in the wrong hands produces destruction. Therefore, most men are kept safe by ignorance. This message you are now hearing does not belong in the hands of drifters, doubters, or those who still ask permission to be great. It is not fit for the one who waits for society to approve of his rise. It is reserved only for the one who has grown tired of indecision, tired of weakness, tired of waiting for someone else to hand him the key. If you are that man, then prepare yourself, for what follows has the potential to remake you entirely. Understand this. Power is not given, it is unlocked, and it is unlocked only by those who possess the mental key. That key is not found in books alone. It is not handed out in schools. It is not passed down by bloodline. It is forged through decision, faith, desire, repetition, and the disciplined mastery of thought. Only a man who has declared war against his former limitations will ever possess such a key. The truth I bring you now has been kept from 98 out of every 100 men, not by conspiracy, but by natural law. The average man cannot wield this truth because he has not yet built the identity that can hold it. But if you listen, if you submit your mind to what is spoken here, you will no longer be of that 98. You will join the ranks of those who have become creators in the field of circumstance. The secret is this: the mind, when properly commanded by burning desire, fortified by faith, and reinforced through repetition, becomes the instrument through which all riches and power are created. This is no metaphor, it is law, and law, once obeyed, delivers results without fail. If this speech feels dangerous to the weak part of you, it is because it is. It is designed to burn away every excuse you have ever clung to. It is designed to destroy the old self, the man of delay, the man of opinion, the man of failure, and replace him with a builder of destiny. Let me now introduce you to a realm that few men ever enter consciously, the inner chamber of your own mind. This chamber is not physical, but it is real. And it is here that miracles are born. It is here that failure first takes root. It is here, in the private theater of thought, that your entire life is constructed before it ever appears in physical form. The mind is a fertile field. It will grow whatever is planted. If you plant fear, you will harvest paralysis. If you plant faith, you will harvest confidence. If you plant indecision, you will reap chaos. If you plant definiteness, backed by belief and fueled by desire, then you will produce power so great the world will not know how to explain you. You must now decide what seeds to plant, and you must be prepared to protect them with your life. Because the moment you begin this work, the moment you begin to install a new reality through disciplined thought, the old world will rise to test you. That is not the time to waver. That is the time to speak louder. Listen to me. This message is not safe. It is not polite. It is not gentle. It is power. And power, like fire, must be handled with responsibility. Once you light this flame, there is no going back to your former self. Once you hear these truths, your old excuses will never satisfy you again. Once you see what you are capable of, you will either rise or you will suffer the pain of knowing you refuse to. You now stand at a threshold. You may turn back and return to comfort, drift, and mediocrity. Or you may move forward and become the master of your thought, the commander of your belief, and the author of your fortune. But you cannot do both. You must choose, and you must choose now. Let this part close with a vow. From this moment forward, I will no longer pretend to be powerless. I will no longer speak as a victim. I will no longer wait for permission. I accept the full responsibility for the power I am about to unlock. Sleep tonight with that decision in your heart. And when you wake tomorrow, begin the process of mental mastery, not as a student, but as a builder of unseen forces. For this truth, when obeyed, does not just change your results. It changes what kind of man you are allowed to become. No man is free until he controls his own thinking, and until that moment, he is not a man. He is a mirror, a servant, a vessel carrying the thoughts of others. The masses are not free. They are shaped by gossip, ruled by fear, trained by failure, and moved by every change in wind and opinion. They do not think, they react. From the moment you were born, you were surrounded by voices. Some spoke fear, some spoke caution, most spoke smallness. And because you had no defense, no philosophy, no definiteness, no filter, you accepted their thoughts as your own. This is the tragedy of modern man. He believes he is thinking when in truth, he is only remembering what someone else repeated to him. Let me say this plainly. Mind control is not fiction. It is fact. It happens not in dark rooms or laboratories, but in homes, schools, workplaces, and casual conversations. The man who does not deliberately command his thoughts is already under the command of the world around him. He who does not deliberately program his mind will be programmed by the world. There is no neutral ground. Either you dominate your mind or you surrender it. Either you install belief, purpose, strength, or you absorb fear, distraction, and failure. You are either the master or the puppet. You choose. Consider this. If you allow television, newspapers, gossip, and culture to speak louder than your own purpose, then you are not living by thought. You are living by noise. And noise has never built a fortune. Noise has never created greatness. Noise has never installed strength. Think now of Andrew Carnegie, a man whose entire empire was constructed from mental clarity. He did not permit useless voices to reach his subconscious. He protected his mind like a fortress. Only thoughts that aligned with his definite purpose were allowed to remain, and that is why his results were inevitable. He once said, "You may take my factories, my steel, and my wealth, but leave me my mind, and I shall have it all back again." You must now adopt this discipline. You must guard your thoughts with the same intensity a king guards his throne. The tool to do this is autosuggestion, the conscious, deliberate repetition of thought designed to install identity, belief, and action. It is not wishful thinking. It is the daily, hourly act of commanding the subconscious mind to obey a new order. You must become the commander of your thought army. And your first order must be, all voices of weakness are dismissed. All thoughts of fear are exiled. Only purpose, power, and wealth are permitted to remain. Practice this now. Repeat after me. I speak only what builds. I hear only what strengthens. I permit only what aligns. Every thought must pass inspection before it enters. Make this your law. Write it, speak it, obey it, because the enemy is always waiting. The old world will try to speak again. It will knock through memory, through familiar voices, through subtle complaint, and if your mind is unguarded, it will let them in. You must ask yourself every morning, who is speaking through me today? My old self, the world's fears, or my definite aim? The answer will determine your results, not someday, immediately. Do not think you are above influence. No man is, but the wise man chooses which influence he permits. He does not swim in the river of popular thought. He builds his own canal, directs it with belief, and flows toward his goal with relentless control. Let me give you a truth that will offend the average man. To think for yourself is an act of war against everything that benefits from your mediocrity. The moment you begin to speak differently, rise intentionally, and refuse fear, the world will push back. That is proof you are on the right path. You must now install your thoughts like a commander builds a kingdom. No room for doubt, no room for delay. Every wall must be placed with belief. Every phrase must reflect identity. Every command must lead to action. Anything less, and the enemy will return. Say it now with certainty. My mind is my domain. No one else may build here unless I permit it. Every thought is either fuel or poison, and I will no longer drink poison. When you speak like this, think like this, and act like this, you will find the world no longer controls you. Your moods will not dictate your movement. Your environment will not dictate your identity. Your past will no longer determine your posture. And what will happen then? You will become dangerous, not to others, but to the forces that once ruled you. You will become immune to the common infections of doubt and fear. You will become a man whose every action comes from principle, not pressure. You will become a man who is truly free. But the price is high. You must monitor every thought. You must rehearse your belief daily. You must reject 90% of what most men casually accept. And you must do this not once, but forever. This is how you break free from mental slavery, not by running, but by rebuilding, not by avoiding the world, but by commanding your internal world until the outer world must adjust. And so I say again, install your thoughts like a commander. Or be ruled by the collective thought of cowards. There are laws more powerful than government, more binding than contracts, more commanding than education. These are the invisible laws of success, laws that govern wealth, power, identity, and destiny. Yet they are rarely spoken aloud. Why? Because those who understand them rule, and those who do not remain ruled. If these laws were taught to every man in every school, the structure of society would collapse. Why? Because obedience to these laws creates leaders, and the world fears too many leaders. The world needs employees, followers, and servants of wage systems, not men who walk with definite purpose and demand results from life. You must now become what few ever do, a student of invisible law, a disciple of principle, a master of internal forces. The laws I reveal to you here will not be accepted by the average man. But you are not average. If you were, you would not be listening. You are ready. And the first law is this, the law of the definite chief aim. No man becomes powerful until he decides, with finality, what he desires above all else. Until that decision is made, he is a toy of circumstance. He floats, he reacts, he complains, he drifts. But the moment he declares, this is what I shall have, and nothing shall prevent me, the universe itself begins to reorganize. This law is not theory, it is power. And every great man I ever studied obeyed it. Carnegie obeyed it, Ford obeyed it, Edison obeyed it, Lincoln obeyed it. They were not men of luck, they were men of definiteness. Until a man decides what he wants above all else, he is a servant of stronger wills. He speaks of goals, but has no aim. He speaks of desire, but has no heat. He speaks of change, but carries the habits of yesterday. The definite chief aim burns all that away. It becomes the pole star of your thinking, the rhythm of your daily behavior, and the fire that makes weakness impossible. Now listen to me. The aim alone is not enough. It must be backed by faith. Faith is not belief in magic. It is belief in law. Faith is the certainty that if I obey the principles, the results must arrive, no matter the delays, no matter the tests, no matter the trials. Faith is mental persistence, even when sight provides no evidence. Faith is the medium of miracles, but it must be installed, it must be rehearsed, it must be spoken aloud, repeated silently, and burned into the subconscious mind until the subconscious begins to respond with action. The next law is repetition. Repetition is the sculptor of belief. No thought becomes identity until it is spoken again and again with emotion and decision. This is why autosuggestion is not merely a tool, it is a requirement. You must become the craftsman of your belief system through repeated inner commands. Faith without repetition is a fire without fuel, and desire without faith is a ship without a sail. But the man who combines burning desire with daily repetition and unwavering faith is unstoppable. His results are not delayed by opinion, not weakened by failure, not discouraged by doubt. Let me now bring you the image of Henry Ford. The world called him a fool. His engineers told him what he wanted was impossible, but he had already rehearsed the image in his mind.